going on, everybody? It's Kevin Lewis White, just beamed down from the fifth dimension to spend some time with you guys all here on the Beyond Borders podcast.
This is Beyond Borders with Rose Gold and Kid Gravity, and a word of advice before you listen. Don't be negligent. Do your research.
Lot of mercy. Hey, folks, I'm back. And guess what? Now that I'm back, I feel more refreshed. Do I not, folks? Yes, I do. I'm just going to answer it for you because that's what I do. And I have a guest on today. I'm sure you saw it by the thumbnail. We may say something that'll hurt your feelings, but we want you all to think. And that's why I bring these guests on, because we need y'all to think. Because when you don't think, guess what? When you don't over, maybe not by a truck, but you'll get run over, probably by an SUV. That's what, it depends on where you live. If you live in California, it might be a Prius or a Tesla. It depends. But when you don't think about what goes on in life, you tend to let things slip by. And then once it slips by, it takes over, it infests, and then But enough about me preaching, because I can preach all day. I'm not a pastor. But like I said, I have a guest on today. I have on unlike most people in Hollywood, this is my thoughts, not his. So I don't want y'all coming for this man, because we need more black actors. Think the same, but he's not afraid to speak his mind. And speaking his mind the way that people don't want you to speak it gets you in trouble, but that he's right. So, folks, ladies and gentlemen, I have on actor, and would you consider yourself an activist?
I mean, I consider myself active. I don't know. I don't like the phrase activist. It kind of got gross on it, but I mean, concerned citizen.
Concerned citizen. That is awesome. Yes, yeah. I have on the great Siaka Massaquoi.
Nice work, buddy. I like that. You nailed it. Oh, you nailed it. Like that's. Trust me, I've heard. Nice. I've heard many iterations, and that was perfect.
Cool.
Perfect. I got to say, you're coming in and out a little bit.
Just messed that up. They try to. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. It's
coming in and out. So if I delay, just repeat what you said.
No, you're fine. It's me, because
like right now, it just went dead.
Rating.
That's okay. So yeah. I'll answer as cleanly as I can with how we go, and we'll try to make it flow. I'm always down to work. I work a lot of short films, indie films in my back of my day. So I know when we got to make it work, we'll make it work.
We will make it work. Even if I have to switch to the phone, we're going to make it work.
Hey, the phone I need all this. I'm on the phone. So look at this. Looks good.
We're going to get this to work, because I need all this.
Yes. Let's make it work.
Because when I found you, I was like, see, I need more brothers like this. I'm tired of seeing the idiots on them.
I appreciate that, my man. Yeah, I mean, if you want to, let's switch to the phone so we don't miss anything. You can bring yourself in and do a quick little swap out. There it is. Yeah, it came on.
Let's see if I could. Let's see.
There you go. Better? Oh man, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. You just
got to get a tripod so it doesn't look like you're looking down into the sink.
Yeah. My tripod was supposed to come today, and of course, when
that's
it rains
good right there.
Yeah, when it rains down here, the post office don't like to work. But it's all good.
This is great. We got it right now. This is perfect.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So, that was quick too. Good transition.
Oh yeah, okay, of course. We're semi-professional here.
Yes, we all have our skills, man. We all can figure it out. We all work hard. That's all you got to do. You can read some instructions and think, as you talked about earlier. Thinking, that's very important. I love your lead-in.
Correct. So folks, I discovered this man. I saw a video from PragerU about
What was the title again? I always preach about research, and I closed the tab for some
Well,
reason.
it's all good. It was the PragerU Stories of Us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
so it's like what they wanted to do was, get stories of individuals that, in a sense, woke up, and they had different sections of people. They had a group of four, which included Brandon Tatum, Brandon Straka from the Walkaway Movement,
Mm-hmm.
and then they wanted to reach out to entertainment because they're located out here in California. So
Yes.
they know a lot of conservatives who are in the entertainment industry who are just quiet right now. So.
Mm-hmm. And but we'll get to that one later. I'm not gonna shoot that off. But yeah, it seems like a lot of conservatives in Hollywood, they're like, you know what, this is not cool. We gotta start speaking up on certain things because you guys influence a lot of people through your works, and it's tough out here because everybody's trying to throw everything out at everybody because they want to be seen. But then it seems like today, when you want to do morals and you want to stand on something, they don't want to see it.
Yeah,
and especially being black, you know how it is. You have to be on one side or you're on the other side.
It's gotten to a point where, and it's been going on for a while, where it's like they don't, we see what products and what projects get more money, they get more pub, is usually disaster and turmoil, especially if it keeps the narrative going and woe was me, poor black people, and this has been going on ever since I was a kid. I'm sure it was going on beforehand. Mm-hmm. But if you look up and you watch, like it is done on purpose so that we don't have anything to, like, human beings need and love stories. That's been part of our existence ever since you go all the way back to the ancient Samaria and like Gilgamesh, right? And African stories that a lot of people know. I was working on a project before I was canceled from this project, but there's so many stories that we need, and a lot of times these stories help build us up, right?
Correct.
And now if you have those controlling stories that come out, and they're only telling you one side of a story, and then they're using the same individuals that they paid off to enjoy the life that they live in to come back and double down on those stories. You look at, since the late 60s, who they prop up to the point where, for a popular black face, they asked Cardi B to interview Joe Biden. So you sit there and you see it's racism by lower expectations, right? And
say
so
that again.
It's racism by lower expectations.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Well, and this is something that I didn't know that's what it was as I was growing up, and I went to my liberal colleges, or junior high, high school, and college. Lived in Chicago, moved out to LA. Actor, buying into all those things. It's something that when you start to really want more for yourself, and you see what that takes, and then you start to hear the conversation behind why either you or people that look like you struggle. You start to have to ask yourself, are you calling me an idiot? Are you saying that I'm not armed with these certain emotional tools that this other group is, that I need to be saved at every turn, every corner? It started to get to a point where that in itself was gross. And then the other side of it was this, Marcellus, or was it Marcellus? Well, no, it was Terry Crews talked about early on in 2020, right after Floyd. He was like, we got to be careful with this black supremacy. And it's something I know something I've grew up in, I've lived, I've seen people around. It's like, how can you want people to accept you, yet you won't even accept them? And use this idea of, well, because of slavery or because of what happened, as an excuse to be a shitty person. Like, it's like, no matter what, you're still playing in that same energy, right? Like they always say, there's always something growing up in the 90s. Sorry, I'm close to the airport. Hopefully it's not too bad, but growing up in the 90s, watching TV or everything, that's where it came up with the whole one love, right? One love, one love. right?
Right.
And a lot of times people will talk about like, oh, hey, I don't care who you love who you love, you love who you love. That emotion, and like most emotions, it goes across the spectrum of what we call race. So if you are practicing in any type of action of hate, I don't care what you justify it as, it is still hate, which is detrimental to our souls, right?
Yeah.
So if we're playing in it, no matter how justified we are, then you're no different from those you claim to, be better than or claim to be fighting against, because it's the same energy, it's the same emotion, just a different title on what an emotion is, right? Who calls you when you break up with someone that you love? Like, that breakup hurts and it sucks, and everyone understands what I mean when it feels when you break up with someone. It's just the difference is the person. But it's just like, oh, I don't want to. But it's like, this girl sucked and that girl sucked and this, or whatever, that situation sucked. But the feeling, that desperation, a lot of times is why people are afraid to get back into relationships, because they're afraid to be hurt again. That hurt isn't more or less depending on who the person is. Everyone's hurt is real to them, right?
Correct.
That emotion is the same thing. So if you are emotionally practicing hateful behavior towards anyone, man, woman, child, black, white, whatever, that is still practicing an evil trait. What else is supposed to come of that? Because like that's the seeds you're planting. So what else are you supposed to get?
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to get out of that because I'll just say, like, sometimes our people just they make it tough sometimes, and it gets frustrating at times, and I'm so guilty of, like, why y'all doing this? It's 5 minutes on the internet. It's like I don't see the effort, and it just upsets me, because we know where you have to do to get somewhere, and it's like we're always the ones that are counterproductive. We always got to be the ones that look at the system and say we're going to do it the other way, even though we haven't conquered the correct way. I shouldn't say correct, because I'm gonna get in trouble for saying correct way, because how people are.
Well, who are you gonna get in trouble by? Because
I'm sure somehow when I put this up and I promo it on Instagram, I'm going to get called a coon. I've already got called a coon the other day, so I laughed. I needed that.
Well, I'll tell you like this, because I think there's a point there when you say the correct way, because there is statistically proven better ways to move through the world, right? And it has nothing to do with race. There's just a better way to move in the world. So when you say the correct way, I can agree with you, because we don't have these conversations. If you're telling me someone who has a 2-parent household and graduates high school and doesn't have a kid before they graduate high school and starts working, has a 90% chance to just be successful and not go to jail, and there's 80% of black homes now don't have a father in it, we can't even start comparing ourselves to the other demographics, because we're not playing at the same game. We're not fielding even close to the same team, and that's before we walk outside the house, right? That's when it comes down to culture, before we get into these certain situations, unless which we have done, allowed the state to control that apparatus too much. We've allowed that to happen, and we look up, and if you're saying 80+% mother or fatherless homes or single parent homes, man, if a kid is in a 2-parent home has a 90% chance, 80% of our kids are not even have a chance to start playing in the same ballpark.
Correct.
And then and I'll know this because I always hear this. I'll just jump out ahead of it because people will say this in the comments. Well, the system of this country, blah 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 blah, is why that's the case. I tell everyone there was a very specific moment where the attack was streamlined in my eyes, which is the '64 Civil Rights Act. After Martin Luther King and Malcolm X are dead and gone, both Republicans, both conservatives, I should say. Yeah, exactly.
Can't say that.
And then they started selling us in this new wave of liberalism. They started selling us on not needing to work to pay for anything, and then not needing a father in homes. So if we want to look at like who's the one responsible, or it's systematic of this country, no. It was systematic of a certain group of people who've been running majority of these cities that majority of black people live in since the late 60s. So if we want to know who the people are who are doing this, it's not the country as a whole, and it's not both sides, because both sides did not want the crisis we're seeing is in the sex trafficking on the border right now. That was not both sides. It wasn't both sides that want to continue seeing people out of work like this. That wasn't both sides. So we can be very clear, and there's receipts out there. People, that's a new thing people like to talk about. Like, oh, where's the receipts? Oh, there are receipts out there, like you said, if people decide to search. But everything I'm saying can be searched. And instead of talking some of the shit that's going to be talked in the comments, prove it wrong.
Well, their answer is going to be that's white man's numbers.
That's what? What's that?
That's the white man's numbers.
Oh, the funny thing is whatever they're like, that's the one thing I know about the left ideology. Number one, it's not original. Mm-hmm. So that means it's not even their thoughts.
No.
This is me coming to conclusions after reading different sources, after looking in, and after comparing to the real aspect of my life does not match up with what they're telling me. And I've been to jail multiple times. And I've been, I've come from a single parent home. I've lost out on great opportunities because of these things. And so I've been the statistic. So then you're not going to turn around and then say, well, it's because. No, it's not because of any of those things people want to put on it beforehand, outside of realizing I'm the one that's responsible for what's happening good and bad in my life. I need to step up and take control of it. Then also learning truth. I'm like, well, it's actually the Democrats who held the longest filibuster in American history to stop the Civil Rights Act. That then they flipped it, as Lyndon Johnson called the nigger bill, Democrat Lyndon Johnson. Then they flip it, and every time they're tossing out, even Joe Biden used it. Oh, hey, I'm the Voting Right Act. I'm the one that did it. Remember, everybody? Also the one that did the 84 crime bill that turned crack into a harder punishment than cocaine. So let's really look at, like, this stuff matters. It matters unless you want to just be angry and then get out of my face, because I don't have time for that. So
I feel you.
We have to start being adults before we can accept anyone else treating us as such, right? So that means a lot of time, that means as frustrated as you can get, it doesn't mean go and grab everybody who's you feel like is acting like a fool and shake them. It means like you show them in the way that you live, but you're also not afraid to stand up and speak up when you see something wrong. Because at this point now, us being quiet, this is why we're doing podcasts. That's why I did the other videos, is because we're at a point that we should have been, this should have been happening 15 years ago, 20 years ago.
Correct.
But we're at a point now where we can't afford to just, we can't afford it anymore. Because me, eventually will say something that, and where we're seeing things going, we'll say something where it doesn't matter of our skin color, it doesn't matter of that we are black men. It's we don't fit what they're being told to say. Mm-hmm. Get rid of them. That's what they're doing. Everybody.
Unless he's willing to wear a dress, and then we got him.
Dave Chappelle talked about this. This shit's been going on for a while, man. Like I said, there are receipts. The thing about the ideology of the left, it's not original. It's not original. Socialism and communism and this style has been tried and has succeeded throughout the history of mankind. The arrogance is thinking that we're different in it. That's the arrogance. But we have receipts of, if you're comfortable canceling someone for saying a word, then you start to soften the idea of what cancellation looks like. Somebody is really disappearing. So when someone starts to disappear for real, I'm talking about they're not around anymore. We're so comfortable with at least they're gone. What's going to stop that? We've seen it in history over and over. Why do we think, especially if everyone's espousing that this country is inherently evil and racist, then why do we think the powers that be won't be evil and racist when they have all the power? Doesn't add up to me, man. So
I told y'all on this podcast, I bring people on to make you think. I told y'all this.
Yeah.
Again, we're here with Siaka Massaquoi.
Dude, you got it, brother. You got it.
I almost said Masson, but oh Lord have mercy, brother. I love what you be talking about, brother. I love it.
I appreciate it, man.
I watched that preview video twice. I know they ain't gonna give me no credit, but it's okay. I'm not a big fan of them because I think they're a little too conservative for me. Like I stay in the middle. Like I look at both sides of the argument so I can make a So before I formulate my opinion, I want to look at both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how much of the podcast you listen to, but okay, let's get controversial because this is what I do.
Let's go. I mean, we're here. Might as well do it now before we're canceled, right?
Yeah. No, listen. I'm trying to get on. I'm trying to make sure Black Twitter sees me because once you get canceled on Black Twitter, you become bigger.
You've done it.
I'm going to. I need to get it. But let's talk. Okay, Breonna Taylor.
Yes.
I didn't say anything about that thing for almost a year. I was quiet. I said every time I'm ready to say something else came out. So I said, okay, let me wait before I formulate my penultimate opinion because I want to make sure because I don't like taking things back.
Okay, I feel you. I can respect that like crazy.
Yes. So I said she shouldn't have died like that, but we're not going to act like she was innocent.
Yes, and that would be honest.
Yes. Oh, and the people on Instagram did not like me saying that.
Yes.
And I said, but that's the truth. Y'all can't keep up there saying she was an EMT. She got fired. We're not going to talk. Y'all are not going to skip over the dead body in her rental car that she was driving. We're not going to skip over this.
Wasn't she on the warrant?
She was on the warrant when they raided the place because it was her address.
I mean,
we're not going to act like. And here comes the cooning. I'm sure I'm going to get a coon timestamp for this.
Oh man!
Brandon Tatum showed y'all the jailhouse conversations. I don't know how the hell he got that, but I guess he's a former cop. He has access.
Yeah, connections.
They were talking about her like she was Queen Pen, so we're not going to act like she wasn't innocent. So this is why I say, Black people, we really need to, as a whole, critically think and look at everything. You can't just look at a shooting and say it's their fault.
Yeah.
What were the circumstances that led up to that? Because they didn't just run up in her house all willy-nilly. They were looking at her for months, but they want to escape from that.
Well, we know we're taught that in that we're literally the school's teachings, television, everything's teaching that lack of accountability is somehow a badge of courage. Correct. Right? And you don't have to. We don't talk about that, right? You don't talk about this. Don't talk about that. Why we're not doing that? And anyone again that watches this and they want to go off the rails, they can go anywhere they want to go. But the fact of the matter is,
our IGs are on the bottom, so you can come in and
please follow because you're never going to have me convinced. The energy that's being put towards someone like Breonna Taylor, towards George Floyd, comes close to the war zone that's Chicago. Mm-hmm. You're not.
And folks, y'all know I talk about Chicago on here a lot. I got somebody from Chicago, so y'all can't come at me.
Yeah, so it's like, look, you're not going to do that. You're not going to sit there and watch. Just in 3 months alone last year, 173 Black people were killed by our own in the summer of chaos that was going on. A lot of them children. About a third of them were kids under the age of 18. So as we're sitting there, and the other side, again, we're looking at what matters. We have to return to that. We have to return to glorifying a higher power. We have to turn to God, because if we look at what matters, the people's names that they're telling us to say, people don't have to believe this if they don't want to, but words have power. Words matter. There's a reason why the Bible's been around as long as it has. And these words matter. And if we're sitting there being told to say names of individuals that on the best thing I would say is sketchy backgrounds, like I have a sheet. I have a sheet. Again, I'm not saying this from trying to be better than anyone else. Mm-hmm. I'm saying we're not saying the names of innocent children. We're not asked to be saying to repeat the names of innocent children, but we're asking to repeat the names of people that chose certain paths in lives that are not, we would say, a righteous paths. Not to negate their deaths, but look at who we're being told to glorify over whom. We have to be better than that. And when we don't, that's why we look back up and we're used like this over and over. And then BLM is going to talk about Joe Biden doesn't talk to us. What? Of course not. The guy who locked up Black people not going to talk to you? Go figure. Go figure. Because that stuff was out there. It wasn't new. It was out there. He'd been lying his whole career, and you fell for the lie. Everything that's happening is not on the coons that you see around it. It's on you. That's where we're at now. This is no more like, well, both. No, it's on you. You guys voted for this thing. Wait to see where taxes go. This is on everyone that decided to fall for this silly shit because of racism. Let's see what happens now when you're being taught they, them, and these in schools, and they're putting Planned Parenthood in there, and our black women, who half of them in our country are the ones who are doing majority of the abortions. So we're killing most of our babies before we come out. Let's have this real conversation. We're killing them before they come out, and we're voting for policies that made us now the number 2 minority in the voting, minority strength voting bloc. We've allowed Hispanics to move ahead of us with the sanctuary city policies that every Democrat that we just blindly vote for, so that right now these sanctuary cities, your kid gets in trouble, you get in trouble, you go to jail. They don't. That's what we voted for, people, not me, because I'd stopped voting liberals. That's what you voted for. So now what? Your kids aren't sitting in school, but their kids get, we get $1,400, but people aren't even citizens get $15,000 and a flight to wherever they want to go. Right now in California, we have 67,000 violent criminals. Our governor, our liberal governor, is going to release, and this is after he released 80 back at the end of August of last year because of COVID. So again, there's real people doing real stuff here. So before we talk about racism and the systemic, let's look at what's going to hurt you today, because those criminals are not going to Bel Air. They're not going to Beverly Hills. They're not going to Brentwood. They're not going to Westwood. Where do you think they're going to go? As we defunded the police. So good luck with all that, people. But you care about, but Black Lives Matter? Okay. How that up?
The brother's passionate. I love it.
Sorry, man, because the shit's so stupid.
Listen,
you know what I mean?
You heard some of the podcasts. You know that's how I sound.
Yeah. So it's like, come on, man. If we're gonna try to, like, how about we think about this? Let's think about this in like sports, right? If we're looking at this from a sports comparison, the strategy of, let's say the Patriots have been successful for 20 years with Tom Brady and all that, right? 20 years, they won like a third of the Super Bowls or something like that.
Correct.
If we're looking at what it takes to win, and we look at who's winning, and we see what they're doing for winning, let's say mother and father in the homes, right? That's the thing we can check off. If we look at a checklist and we don't have those attributes, how about you try to get those attributes so you can be successful? But yet, no, we have different individuals who already made it trying to turn back and tell you that's not how it works. It's a loser mentality. That's not how winners think. Plain and simple. You don't think, well, I would win, but I can't because he goes, I'm gonna win. I don't care what anyone thinks. Screw them if they think that anyway. But why can't we have that as a community? You think those Asians care if we do jokes about them? Koreans care about that? No. Jews, they make fun of Jews all the time. Does that stop them from running and owning businesses? Well, how come it stops us from running and owning businesses? How come it stops us from being financially literate? How come it stops us from, I don't know, wanting to be in a nuclear family? How come it has us accept, right? It has us accept the African American Museum last year put out that logic and independent, wanting to be an independent individual is somehow white racism. And we accept that to come out and go, yeah, thinking logically is white thinking. That's what it said. Logical thinking is white supremacy. How does anyone here pay their bills? How does anyone here know when to go vote? Because I know we're too dumb to use the internet and we're too dumb to go to the DMV, but yet we're still going to double down and vote for people because they can come out and say racism people. So racism. Are they right? Are they right when they say we're too dumb? Because when I look up and you have all these things and all you can say is racism to make people vote blue. I don't want to say it, but what does it look like? It looks really dumb to me. Mm-hmm. So
racism.
Oh, yeah, no. Racism.
Let's talk about we got to talk about it. What happened last week? Tim Scott said.
Yeah.
He said it. Now I don't always agree with the brother, but
it's fine. You're not supposed to agree with everyone else.
It's not wholly racist, but there's a lot of racism still here. But that racism is from people not understanding things. I say racism is basically people fearing what they don't understand or choose not to understand. And that's
I say that's ignorance.
What's that?
I'll say that'd be more ignorance because somebody can say right. A seemingly ignorant racist statement, but I don't think that's racism. I think racism is very specifically, you see someone as less than, plain and simple.
Correct.
Like someone can say something stupid and not know, but people can say, like we've seen Joy Behar or Alyssa Milano or these people like, imagine as a black man, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, what? That's just racist.
But you know what's funny about that too? They would never say that about black women because they know what was going to happen.
That's why they see it say black men or blacks in general. They never really say black women.
Never say a black woman because
they still got to deal with the black lesbians on their team that do some stuff for them. And like that burn down cities and then buy like 4 houses around nothing but white people. Anyway, keep going.
So it was 5, but we're not gonna go.
Yeah, 5. Excuse me.
And we found out Facebook's paying her, but we're not gonna. I already banged on her already. I'm not.
We may get back to that, but
yeah, we may. We'll see. Oh man, I'm sorry that video that I put up with her doing the electric slide and whatever.
It's sick, dude. It's
another
sick.
day. Maybe in 10 minutes, we'll see. But the queen of the Chucks and Pearls echoed the same thing he said, and nobody said anything. They let that ride, and I was like, okay, so y'all don't hate black men. Okay, that's cool. We take that. Yeah. We're still going to be successful. It's okay. I mean, even though LeBron James is destroying the NBA, but we're still going to be successful.
Black men are next.
There's a black kid, right, or a black man right now inventing something that's going to change the world, and white supremacy is going to take it. But we're still going to do it.
But you saw, and we see it every time. We've seen it every time. I'm sure you've experienced it, but as a black man, you see it where the true racists come out when you speak honestly. Mm-hmm. That's when you really see. That's when you see the true racists. And then you see who's all around, the acceptance of the statement, the nodding of the heads. Yeah, you got them. All that they come out. They show themselves.
Oh, they came out. They came out on Twitter the other day because I saw the tweet, and I told people this on my video. I said, when you search for that term, look at the first person that they had on there, and who was it? It was a black man. I was like, there it is. So I said, okay, y'all gonna let this ride? I don't want to hear nobody when that hard ER trends. I don't want to hear it. No. Y'all can't take it.
You take it because this is. It's like they say, no one's going to respect you until you respect yourself. No one's going to love you as much as you love yourself. So show me where, as a black community, we respect ourselves. Show me.
We don't.
Because if you don't say Black Lives Matter, people will shut you down. We've seen them kill other black people during this thing. We've seen shit. I'm walking down the street, lady comes out, or during one of the in Beverly Hills, black lady comes out of a high-end store with a customer standing behind her to yell at and scream and call me a coon. Black woman. And I'm like, if this was your son, would you want someone calling him that? So it's like we got to see what we do. And we don't want to because I think it's a huge factor. The single mother home, so you don't have the strong male aspect to tell you like cut that shit out in the same way as you do because women are nurturing, and that's just a different thing, and that's what it's supposed to be. So they will tend to nurture more. So those times I'm seeing it with my godson where you got to be like cut it out, let's just go. If you don't have that even in there, then those times when you need to do that for yourself to cut your shit and just get up and go. They become harder, right? They become more work as opposed to it being instilled in you. And I've seen that in myself where I didn't start understanding life and stuff until I was 33 because, oh, shit.
That's technology. Maybe you're getting a phone call. Oh, no, it froze. Oh, no, this was good. No. Folk, I'm talking to Siaka Massaquoi, and he went out. God damn technology. I don't like technology sometimes. Every time they must have flagged it. Well, they couldn't have flagged it. No, they might have flagged it because we were talking real nice. And when you talk nice, they say, nah, we can't have you talking like that no more. But he's right, folks. Us as black people, we don't value each other. Being pro-black right now is trendy. And being that it's trendy, we can sit here and just overwhelmingly talk all this pro-black stuff, and then when it comes time to really do pro-black work, I want to back up. You know, it is what it is. Sucks. I hope he comes back. This was good. Either his phone died or his, what is it? Or California must have had another rolling blackout. Who knows? But hopefully he'll come back. Technology. But yeah, you know, I got to ask him about Gina Carano and how he got his name Chief Americano. I got to ask him all that. Hopefully he'll come back. But intermission. So let us play the song again till he comes back. So we will be right back.
Self-worth, a lesson not taught. Hang ourselves with a rope that's taut, cause we're never taught what we need taught. So it's college every day, we buy what we need taught. But from our eyes, we should be bright-eyed. Instead, we concerned with the 5 on the black hand side. Slide a 5 to smoke something, use the black hand side. Ride Friday's pockets with 5 from the black hand side. We should power up the fist, but we slap away from the light hand side. Luke Skywalker smacked the hands extended regardless of the side. The dark side revolted, took matter to its own hands. See what happened when they mess with his own hand. Or Gohan's Masenko's rappers copy each other like a king goes. But those cat staples, that was easy breezy, beautiful. Cover girl is fun. I can listen to a cover girl rather than a tape full of 8/8s who hurls 64s of pharmacies, fallacies. Self-worth is 0 hour. Marvel up is never enough to know that life is circumstance. By chance, you'll be one to change the world. So know your self-worth. Know your self-worth. Bring it back up, do it again. Self-worth is 0 hour. Marvel up, it's never enough to know that life is circumstance. By chance, you'll be one to change the world. So know your self-worth. Know your self-worth. Sellouts out and about, but you don't know a thing about the industry. Kid Gravity throwing bricks at the glass house and God's house, even the White House. I guess with socialist opinions, unless it's social media, Wikipedia. But a video gets you turpentine vanity. You'll get burned in the end when you hit send. So I decided to spit real rhymes about current times, but the execs use their due process to regress truth. As a consequence, that's a cause and effect, or more of a costly effect. Affect the food on the table. You fight so long for a label, but then ascertain able to achieve the fable. Aesop Rock stories never rooted from the apple tree. So iPhone 5 to talk me down. One is a realist, one keeps me focused, another I consider a brother. She shows serenity when I'm out of focus, and my girl shows me the greener side even when the patch is past. Self-worth is 0 hour. Marvel up is never enough to know that life is circumstance. By chance, you'll be one to change the world. So know your self-worth. Know your self-worth. Bring it back up, do it again. Self-worth is 0 hour. Marvel up, it's never enough to know that life is circumstance. By chance, you'll be one to change the world. So know your self-worth. Know your self-worth. I don't wanna deal with the stepping stone to speak what I condone. I feel like I got in my zone. I'm not alone, the voice of the boisterous. Gotta be boisterous. Watch your door, boy. Struts and stuff is merit. I'ma dangle the carrot. Will you follow it? White rabbit habit forming eyes an audience grilling me like forming BS bag money mean timeline cash flow challenges. Oh no, fire sleep. Look at these sheep. No longer people continue creep through positive message. Hate pick positive. Negative, no neutrality, but a lot of duality, casualty, but I'll do me and masturbate on the industry. Where's my ivy crown without fail? The crucifixion of my conviction in the form of the word hater. No one cater to the level 100 debater, masturbator. It's meant for sick as TB, it's a TB. 3 sides of observation like the toes on Misty. Balanced life, yours iffy. Need to finish in a jiffy. Needed to explain self-worth one more time. Self-worth is 0 hour. Marvel up, it's never enough to know that life is circumstance. By chance, you'll be one to change the world. So know your self-worth. Know your self-worth.
Guess he's still having problems. Well, in the meantime, while he's getting that situated, really quick, folks, I gotta show y'all this. This was quite funny when I saw it the other day. So I forgot to put this up on my Instagram about how the Georgia election went to Biden. Well, the state of Georgia went to Biden because of the Asian population. And I think I've put it up a couple times, but I didn't remember to put it back up. And that would be my camera. Yes, folks, I got a new camera. I'm trying to make it look as clear and concise as we can. So, Washington Post said this. Now, I first saw it on NBC News. And when I saw it on NBC News, I said, wow. And it was all thanks to y'all, Stacey Abrams. And of course, nobody believed me. So I'm going to play it again. Because I want this to hammer in your head that these black people are not for you. The ones that run around, y'all will claim Stacey all day. She's not for you. But, let y'all tell it. Oh, you're not about to put an advertisement. Oh, y'all suck. I forgot this is Bezos. Bozo Bezos. So we're going to try. I hate Vox. Fine, we'll use NPR. NPR is better. It's better. Okay, so bang. President-elect Joe Biden won Georgia carried Georgia with less than a 13,000 vote lead. A tiny margin made possible in part by historic turnout among Asian American and Pacific Islanders in the Peach State. It's the first time in nearly 30 years that Georgia voters chose a Democrat for president. I think the last time was Jimmy Carter. No, that was 1990. So that must have been Clinton. Okay. Where's the line where they talked about Stacey? Where is it? I'm not funding you. Screw you. This might just be an interview. No, that one was on NBC. But y'all still want to tell me that it was Stacey. Okay, you're right. It was Stacey. But Stacey was helping out the AAPI, and now they're getting tangibles, and you're getting nothing. Except these thoughts of, oh, we did it. Chucks and Pearls crew, oh, we did it. Sure. Let's see. Where is it? They might have taken the story down. And I don't remember if I bookmarked it. Damn. I don't think I bookmarked it. It sucks. Oh, he's back.
I had to move. It's a little darker here.
Okay, that's fine. I was just telling the folk how the AAPI, they're winning right now because
the who?
The Asian American Pacific Islander Coalition.
Oh.
How they helped Biden get Georgia, and now they're getting all the benefits, and black people are getting shafted because the person in charge of that actually was helping that coalition for a decade, but they didn't want to mention that.
Yeah, of course.
So I was just educating again on Stacey. Stacey's not for black people, folks. And y'all can sit up there and tell me she is. She's not.
Ms. Abrams?
Yes, she's not for black people. She made sure, which was a smart move, because when you win an election, you need the French vote. So it was a smart move. I gave her credit. But we're not going to sit up here and act like she's for black people, because she's not. But
well, I mean, here's the thing. Mm-hmm. They're for themselves.
Yes, sir.
So, like, again, I just pose the question. You look up, and every time, 08, well, Obama, like, he came in, and one of the first things he did was sign it was the equal pay for women, but it was already a law. So all that was to show anyway. Cool. And it's like, when you look at, like, he didn't nominate one black person for the Supreme Court. Cool. That's a lifetime appointment. So, I mean, like, if we all those people that were shot and killed. Eric Holder is the lead police officer, law enforcement individual in the country. So when we really look at it, it's like you get away from the flash, get away from the pomp and circumstance that Hollywood puts together. So you believe this lie. And it's just like, yo, is he treating you all right? Like, is the relationship, like, look at the relationship. You're surprised that they're doing all this now and they're not coming out. And like, I'm done. Like, I'm done going, oh, well, and no, it's not, oh, well, on both sides anymore. Like I was saying before it ended, it's like, they were lying to you this whole time before. They lied to you before, and now you're surprised they're not there for you now. Like, all right.
I think they're surprised when they go to the gas station.
See, I'm like, but they said they were going to. What do you think? Moving,
yes, sir, but they didn't. They let the hate cloud everything.
Yeah, well, that's why. Well, that's why. Then I always when I ask, like, so all the stuff's coming now, and it's like just to be able to move through your day, to be able to groceries about to go through the roof. Correct. Gas is already doing that. Just move through your day, the people you interact with, or racism. That they can use racism for you to blind you so much of like tax hikes in your neighborhood about what's going on in your school. So much they can use racism anytime. Like, are you that stupid? Like Candace Owens says it, and at this point is like, are people that stupid? Because that's what the vote looks like. Because you're not voting for the interest of the kids of the future or yourself.
No,
I mean,
this was an emotional vote.
Yeah, so I mean, like, look. They say whatever they want, do whatever they want. They're emotional vote, but it seems like a lot of them are because in this country, black people are only ones in the world outside of in a democracy anyway, because communist areas don't count. But only demographic to vote 90% for one group. Like, that's idiotic. They don't got to work for our shit. Why they got to work for anything?
Well, they don't need it anymore now.
They don't need it now, and now they don't. Honestly, now they really don't need it. That's why they're coming after black men now.
Yes, sir.
That's the next thing, because now you can, and they're coming after, actually, I should say in an overt way, because before they were doing it in policies, and they're still been doing it. Now they're just able to talk about it, and they've gotten a lot of our black women to jump down and go, oh, yep, and it's like, all right, well, you're letting the state decide what's best for you and your family. That's all that's happening. No matter who says, oh, I got your back and whatever. It's at the end of the day, you're going to rely on the state. That you're just a number. You're just a number, and a number that doesn't matter. They're going to say, oh, well, and I know, because I know all these talking points, right? Because they're not original. They're like, oh, well, Trump, and then Trump that. And I go, look.
You know what you do? I don't know if you've ever done this, but I go to liberals and I say, okay, you guys voted for Biden and Harris. Okay, tell me why you voted for him, but don't use Trump.
I mean, it's... The beautiful thing about a constitutional republic is we get exactly where we are, So to see a stumbling, bumbling, dumb-looking individual out there in the front and all the disaster in the back, that's what we really are. As an individual.
I think he's trying to be Bush. I think he's trying to outvote.
No. This man has done 40 executive orders in the first 30 days, more than any other president.
The first 3 days. Oh,
right. It's like Bush was playing dumb, and this guy may be playing dumb, but he's bad at it, and it looks like old dementia. And people voted for that, like, because of racism. Let's remember this. Yes, we have more sex trafficking and more catastrophe at the border because of racism. We have more people unemployed, and work seems to not be coming back because of racism. We have people being forced right now on secret lists by your government because of racism. We have our own state government being found direct contact with big tech to censor people during an election season because of racism. What else is because of racism? Oh, all the problems in the world stem from this one guy who actually openly made promises to the black community and delivered on them, top to bottom. But because of what they told you racism, so it's a tell me how it's not a loser mentality. They attacked Ice Cube because he was like, this guy was willing to talk to me. They attacked Ice Cube. Where's Joe talking to him? but because of the idea of racism, you attack your own. It's stupid. It's loser mentality, and they're falling for it. It's on them. It's on the shoulders of those that call anyone coon, that sit there and turn your back on, didn't even want to have a conversation, and you call anyone that went the other way something negative. It's on you. All this stuff is on you. There's no it's not because of slavery. We had a choice. That's one thing that's good. We had a choice today in 2020 to have slavery not even come up to be a question anymore. This man with even Ice Cube's platinum plan, what was it, 500 billion?
Yes, sir.
So we couldn't talk about slavery anymore. And y'all said, nah, let's keep it.
And also don't forget, he could have put that in as executive order. The day he got in. That could have been order 001.
Dude, Trump promised and signed into order that Joe actually turned around billions of dollars to the HBCUs for 10 years.
Tell them they don't want to talk. See, they don't bring that up.
But this is loser shit, right? You picked a loser over something that was actually winning. And this is, again, look it up. You pick loser shit, and now we're wondering why we're losing. Like, because we're picking loser shit. Hey, you keep picking the slide, and you're never getting up the ladder. So, I mean, what else is, and this is not like, and trust me, I say this in a sense of like, it's a behavioral thing, right? It doesn't mean that's who you are. It doesn't mean you're a loser because you picked it. It's a behavioral thing. The ideology is a trap. The ideology is a mental disease at this point.
Yes.
You need to work to get yourself better so that you can get out of that disease place. But while you're in the disease place and you believe someone who has given more money and put more money into black people's pockets than any other time, or open up the opportunity with work and more jobs and stuff like that, more time than any other time in American history. And you chose the guy who's made a policy to lock up more black men than any time in American history. So either
it was given to him that did the same thing.
Same thing. So I'm like, either it's a loser mentality or everyone wants to see more black people locked up and killed. Because at this point, those were the choices. Those were literally the choices, not hypothetically and kinda. And I heard, no, those were, one guy released more black people and invested more money into the community. And one guy has taken more money in his whole side and locked up more black people. And y'all chose the guy that locked up and took more money. That's what y'all chose. So I want to see the comments later to try to defend that, please.
Oh, no, those bisexuals, they went into hiding.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, they went into hiding, right? They went into hiding. So it was like, but I want to see it.
But y'all had all that smoke for the
receipts.
Y'all had all the smoke for y'all.
All the smoke beforehand. And he's this. It's like, okay. Hey, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. But now look at it. Now look at the fact that that's their, most of our kids have no idea what finance is. Man, I went to a school that had all the magnet programs and this, that, and the other. And education was, top notch. I never learned one day in school about credit.
Yes, sir.
One day in school, I started learning about my credit at 33. So that's all of it is on me after a certain, especially after school. But if you're in school, all the education I got, but I didn't know if you're in the South, that's where black people got hung. I didn't know that. I didn't know old white men were just a racist toward me, but I didn't know anything about credit. What would have armed me better for the world?
Credit. The world runs on credit.
So again, when we look at these tactics, we've got to be like, what's the through line? They don't teach any type of accountability in school. Mm-hmm. They don't teach any type of math and science and real math and science. They don't teach finances. They don't even teach the true history of our country, or like, let's just say the law of the land, the Declaration of Independence. That our Constitution should be just mandatory. Every time the kid is from kindergarten up, they should just be learning it. So how your country works. You know what I mean? Exactly. But no, they don't teach any of that. They teach all this other stuff, gender pronouns, race, race theory, and yet the rest of the world still works on credit and finance. So they're teaching you shit the world doesn't work on, like, when are we gonna they're teaching you stuff that is not gonna work, and they keep eating while everyone keeps chasing for these scraps because of racism. So that's how simple
racism. Racism.
Everything's racist. So you can't see the forest for the trees because of racism.
Well, according to AOC, trees are racist. So.
Oh yeah. Well, according to AOC, I can't even start with her.
Listen, I'm a New Yorker, and I didn't vote for her, but I'm ashamed that she's from my state.
Hell, as Nancy Pelosi said, she goes, this cup of water could have won in AOC's district. Yeah, let's just be careful. I was like, oh yeah, it's because AOC answered a Craigslist ad for an actor, and she was able to deliver well. And look what's going on. So.
It's not see how she operates without a script now. she don't look too good. She don't look too bad.
You know what it looks like? It looks like someone. Did you ever watch during Johnny Depp, that whole like thing going on with the Sun last year? Him and Amber Heard.
Yes.
If you get Amber Heard's testimony, or her talk, it was like her and then AOC. Now it's like listening to people. You know when you listen to like a little kid try to just tell you a story that you know is just a lie. Mm-hmm. That's how they're talking now.
Yes, sir.
Eyes are big, movements are big, and it's
basically overacting.
Pretty much, you know. And then you see it, and as soon as I see it right away, I'm like, that's just bad. Like she's like, so I'm against the wall, right? I'm against the wall, so I'm like here, and then they're going like here, and I'm like, you're like. You know, you probably could have moved easier out of the way for the janitor to pick up the garbage because you weren't even in the building, sweetheart. But yeah, it was not because people, when they're talking about real stuff, they don't talk like that.
No,
they tell it because it's coming from here, right? And especially if it's something emotional, like heightened like sense of stress, you're not like, well, it's an internal thing because you're going through it again, right?
Okay.
She was like, this is what it's supposed to look like. Amber Heard was like, and he's like, he grabbed my hair, and I was like, not my sister, not my sister. And I was like, is this serious? How are you not laughing in these people's faces?
Oh my god!
Am I wrong? Tell me, am I wrong about that?
No, it's like they're not going to pass the screen test on.
He's like, I'm not gonna, and I'm like, this motherfucker's an Aquaman, and I'm sitting here trying to get in. I'm just trying to get in. You know what I mean? I'm over here being like, all right, how can I parlay that 2-liner to get a 3-liner and then get like a little arc? But whatever.
Yeah, can I be at least the bad guy for the?
Yeah, no. Remember, I don't do that. I'm not gonna compromise just to be like yo, what's up, homie? What's going on? You know, I don't really play that character all that well. But hey, you know,
check this out. I gotta know what is the significance of Chief Americano? I gotta know.
All right, well,
that other account. So
so Siaka means chief.
Yes.
All right. So that's something that's been with me because apparently, generationally, as a Massaquoi, as we have to name at least one kid Siaka, and Siaka was the king that united all the tribes in Liberia. So that and then Americano is my best friend I've known since we were 17. He was the other guy that was out there with me, especially early on. He's half white, half Mexican, so Americano.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, so we use what we got.
All right.
And the beautiful thing about being American, we can use it all, and it's all American.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I'm glad to be an American.
Yes, hell yeah, man. Wouldn't want to be anything else.
You know what's funny too, before we get into this last thing, it's funny how a bunch of black people love talking about how this country is racist, but they're like, okay, why don't you go to somewhere like Jamaica where there's not really as many amenities that you have, where you go to Africa? Hell, go to South America.
Yep.
Where they really don't care about you. They're like, I'm like,
I tell you like this. So I don't have to say names, but I did a movie in the home where my family's from, Liberia, 4 years ago now.
Yes, sir.
And I remember talking to producers, and she's like, she had connection with a lot of Atlanta actors, a lot of the ones that are on those OWNs and all those, OWN and BET and stuff that live down there. She was like, man, all of these actors, these black actors, are always talking about pro-black this and pro-black that, and you're like, you didn't come to Africa? But I'm not going to Africa. You're Africa, and they're like, it's dangerous, and you're like, you slave motherfucker.
That's what I was saying.
I'm like, you backwards ass, like, I'm afraid of dogs, it's just like, come on, guys, like.
But that's what I'm saying, like, being pro-black is trendy now. Like, y'all not really living it.
But they're always like that too. I remember growing just seeing those little things that they put on the colors, right? The little African color and then the African thing. You'd be like, yo, you ever been over there? Like,
Shout out to Nancy and Chuck for that.
Oh my God.
Shout out to them for that.
And I'm surprised they could get back up and those hips were still working.
Facts.
You know what I mean? That's all those adrenaline.
Co-signing them, talking about they got the drip. I hate y'all sometimes for the real way, but
I mean,
y'all gonna learn one day.
All for
Everybody
it.
has to wake up eventually.
Yeah, you know, and I but you know what? I believe that. Let's look back. We can look back 5 years. We didn't have even this.
Yeah.
You know, so the fact that we're doing this as two black guys out here talking and being in a place now.
This would have been in the barbershop 5 years ago.
Right. Yeah. And that's one of the beautiful things too, is like we have the capability of talking it all out.
Yeah.
But when they've allowed ourselves, and then we allow ourselves to be worked up the entire time and only come out for certain things.
Correct.
Like then we're used. But the barbershop, man, I mean, I grew up talking, that's what we talk about, our homies. We talk about everything. And then we look at this last 5 years of them shutting down speech so fast, and to see other black folks jump on it like that, it actually seems like it's counterproductive to just who we are as human beings, number one, but then who we are as a community. It's all about talking shit, seeing who got it, who don't, and then moving on. You're like, all right, man, I'm out of here. But it's like, you know, escalating to the violence in the streets now because we don't understand how to take anything.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have your dad around to go, yeah, all right, screw him, you know? It just doesn't.
At least have a thing of like, listen, you can disagree with him, but just listen to what he says first, and then come back on him later. Use his own words to defeat him. But
and the best revenge. Well, exactly, and most people don't get the best revenge is living a great life.
Exactly,
and that's something that's been hard. I get it. You want to get them back. I get it. But like when I look at the world that I've chosen to be in, and the type of things that I've done. For example, I know every time I book something, or every time like that Prager video, I know people, even as conservatives, who have, you know, in a sense, done me wrong, and instead of retaliation, now they got to watch me on Prager, right? People have to watch me on this stuff, and it's like, look, if I change to go, I'm gonna get you back. I'm not focused. My energy's not in that direction. So I decided to go, you know, we work through, and we all got to work through when we're feeling that stuff, because it happens. We're human. But the focus on like the energy of getting them back, or, you know, white privilege, then I'm stopping myself from, number one, learning who I am and seeing what I'm truly capable of.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, because I'm holding myself back, waiting to only move on this one thing that's the emotion. That's what really gets me out of bed. To run out in the streets and break down other people's properties, that's what gets you out of bed. How about get you out of bed to sit there and be like, all right, how are me and my family going to really do this? Can I give you a little financial tip that will blow everyone's mind that mess with me?
Go ahead.
You ever heard of trade lines? You ever heard of that?
Yes.
Yeah. So trade lines, some people don't know. You can, you know, go to financial advisor, and you can basically buy credit. That's what a lot of people do. A lot of wealthy people do it. But more importantly than that, you know how you can add someone's name to your credit card, right? You can add, and then you can have them on there. If every black mother today, every black baby that was born today, if they put their kid on their name, on their credit card, just as another person, every time you pay it, whether you're late or not, but every time you pay your credit and doing your stuff, you're establishing credit like history for that kid. So by the time they're 18, they will have 800 credit. Imagine if every black baby born today, 18 years from now, had 800 credit to start their lives. If that's when they wanted to start it, shit, it could be 15 to 16, right? So now imagine if we had that. So what is college? If you have an idea and a plan, you can go, right? And if you have 800 because you haven't been messed up, you go to a bank, it's a lot easier to get loans because they have the history, but you have the perfect credit. So again, that's the game. So if you know that, imagine what that would look like then, huh? Then you don't need to ask nobody for nothing except for the bank for a loan that they will give you, because 800 credit, you get a black card. You go into any Ferrari dealership, put it right on the table, you can go test drive it. That's what 800 credit does for you without even having to buy. So like that's just a hack. That's a life hack. Like imagine that. That's not Doesn't matter how racist anyone else is either.
Yeah, I was actually going to put my daughter on mine.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, so
Just do it, because it's like, look, at the worst case scenario, like, she has credit history and she hasn't done anything personally to her credit. She just has the history of you.
Exactly.
So I mean, like, look at the things we can do before any other white guy or before the law or anyone writes it into until they deal with slavery. No, we can do this today. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same old song that was before. So I mean, like, come on.
I'm actually going to do a video on that later this week about how they're trying to normalize, no, normalize ain't the right word. They're trying to soften slavery so they can make it more accepted later on.
Oh yeah.
And I think a lot of black people don't see it, but
yeah, they're doing it they're doing it in a very sneaky way. So when you look up and you're accepting coins instead of what your real value is, instead of going out and finding your value, you're going to accept the little pennies they give you, as they've given us the last year and a half. And you're going to realize, I mean, this financial stuff still hasn't really come yet. So, you know, we're getting close. So I just hope that everyone finds something more important than yourself that's a higher power, is not a man on this planet, because to be honest with you, humans are fallible and they will disappoint you. And by doing that, you set yourself up for failure. Find something bigger, you know, and lead with love.
Yeah, everybody got to find a purpose in life. And that ain't going down to the mall and buying a goddamn Gucci belt for $300. No,
and you know what? Find failure. We got to find failure. Failure is where the lessons are. Winning is easy, you know, or accepting winning.
Everybody don't want to learn anymore,
right? Accepting to win. Everyone feels good when they win. Yeah, accept it. But like accepting losing and what you're supposed to get in that's the hard part. That's when we got to be better and stronger. And that's the part when I look at the revered individuals of the past, they accepted their losses and stood taller because of them, you know? So I'd say there's a lot of soul searching we all have to do as a country. Black folks, white folks, everyone has to look deep down in their soul and ask themselves, how do we want to lead moving forward? How do we want to go and be examples for our children? We're seeing kids scared to see human faces right now. So, and we're killing babies at an astounding rate just inside the womb. So we had to ask ourselves, as a human species, what are we valuing?
Well, right now we're valuing vanity. That's the number one thing, attention.
Right. Yep. But attention at any cost.
Only going to get you so far, and you're not going to get the attention that you want.
You know, and I'm seeing, that's why I commend you for having podcasts, sitting here having a conversation, because I am seeing a lot of people that were part of the, you know, the MAGA movement, if you will, early on, and going to all the rallies that are like, they're trying to hold on to this audience based off of what they think people want to see. And I'm like, look, I think it's my Aquarian nature, because I'm Aquarius, but yeah, I've always I hear what people say, but I've always done just what I wanted to do. And I tell people like this, like, do what makes you happy, because then, you know, if people love it, you're still doing something you love. If you're doing something you don't, and then the people love it, then you start to feel beholden, which creates resentment. Cool. Then goes in a dark place. So just do what you love, and if people like it, they like it. If they don't, hey, you're at least doing what you love. Connecting with people around this,
cooking professionally and doing screenwriting, I mean, I'm happy.
Yes.
I left New York. I haven't had a stress attack in 3 months.
Wow.
I'm happier. I'm around trees. I get to go outside in the backyard and chill, get some sunlight. I don't have to worry about these high taxes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Georgia. I mean, it's relative because I'm near Atlanta, but you know,
I know you gotta change. I mean, there needs to literally be a sweep. We gotta go through a sweep, and these guys need to be exposed, because they're killing us, man. They're killing us, and they're eating the people who are sent out to support this stuff. They're eating. It's like Sodom and Gomorrah type of stuff, man. They're eating like crazy. Right,
Atlanta is like Sodom and Gomorrah of the South. So,
and then the LA is the Sodom and Gomorrah of the West. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like these people are eating, filet mignon and laughing about stuff, and you're just
shout
like, yeah. Hey, we got the recall going. So
is anything going to be going through with that, or is that just like
oh no, we got it certified. It's about to happen. So the only thing he can do to stop it is to like really stop and he doesn't get recalled is to announce that if he resigns, then it goes to the lieutenant governor, which is a Democrat too. So that's the only way it can stay in their hands for sure.
They can't win for losing.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. He tried to pass something right now. They did pass the mail-in ballots again for this recall. But like I said, you can look up Judicial Watch. Just came out an article on the 30th and on Thursday. But 1, 2, 3. Sorry, it was on Friday. They have documentation of the Secretary of State of California actively asking Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook to censor individuals. And there's a lot of big faces and names on there, so something's coming for them. Who knows? It's out there. It's not in some court case that no one can talk about. This Freedom of Information Act. Just look, Judicial Watch, California, Secretary of State, and it's some next level stuff, man. It's next level stuff because it was during an election year, so we know what that is.
That's why I keep telling black folks 2022 is very important. The black independents are going to have to stand up. If y'all don't stand up, it's over. You might as well give away your rights.
That's what I'm saying. So, I mean...
The man said point blank on the podium, no constitutional amendment is... What is it? No constitutional amendment is absolute.
Yes.
And black people are missing that. He could repeal slavery if he wanted to. He could put us right back in chains.
Second Amendment. There it is. People want to talk about it. The Second Amendment. Take away the guns, and then we're all slaves. They get more slaves than just black folks. So,
and you're gonna see a whole lot more coons running around.
Yes, you are strapped.
Yep. And I have this joke, and then we'll end it here. I said, between Trump and Biden, you guys killed the abolitionists to go back to massa. How do you look now?
That's fire. Can I use that?
You can use it.
Thank you. Whoa, that's fire.
So,
wow.
Yes, folks, this was Siaka Massaquoi.
What's up? Thank you.
Amazing. I want to thank him so much for coming on. I'm going to let him promote himself, and hopefully he will come back, because I do want to get into, me being a screenwriter, him and the actor.
Yeah, we get
off of him. Make it a happy. So we'll do that on Bet on Black.
Yeah,
that's the happy podcast.
Passenger 57.
Yo,
yes.
I'm about to go look that up right there
now. Passenger, always Bet on Black.
Always Bet on Black.
So guys, you can find me on Instagram at right here is at Chief Americano. You can also find me as at Siaka_Massaquoi. Google, you see it down here. You can find me that way too. It works. You can also find Chief Americano on Instagram, I already said that. Twitter and on YouTube, but I'm going to a new site soon, but I will be I got to keep that quiet till we get it all locked in. There's a new social media starting up. So yeah guys, it's a great new frontier.
On that?
No, I'm going to be part of the first content creators, and
nice.
Yeah, so it's going to be, we're in Drive Traffic over there, coming out soon. Trust me, I'm going to let you know, because you're doing content, and it's like, look, might as well get over there and see.
I got some stocks, some black stocks that I'm watching right now. If it works, I could do this permanently.
Hey man, that's what the dream is. Taking back your own agency. That's what's going on. And that stuff is happening in here, and here is happening in the whole life too. So
yes,
God bless everybody.
Yes,
pleasure.
So guys, we're gonna be up out of here. You know how I do it. I'm not gonna tell you the social media. You should know it by now. It's on the bottom of the screen. The audio people, it's in the description box. Take care, stay safe, unless you live in Texas, Mississippi, or Florida, where your master gets your supplies. And just remember, if you black and they call you a coon because you got some standards, you must be doing something right. So peace. We're out.
Later.